mawefu amburangarira panero parakadeukira kubatana ndokwatoshoera.
Then yes, Takutanga. So hello and welcome to another episode of what we love about Zimbabwe. So as you know, for Zimbabwean Independence this year, we have set it under the theme of love, engage and represent, all in order to change the narrative of our country and celebrate independence and showcasing the beauty of Zimbabwe. I'm very happy to and honored to have an honorable guest for this show. May you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Philip Ndoro. I am currently based in Mexico, where my family and I have been living for the past few years.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Let me get you started with a good question. So, what are you proud of as a Zimbabwean?
Wow, I am proud of the freedoms that we have. When people are in Zimbabwe, they don't realize the type of freedoms that they have, and it's only when you leave Zimbabwe that you begin to appreciate the freedoms. So the freedoms to walk around, the freedom to be who you are, the freedom to be able to eat what you want, the freedom to be able to associate with who you want. Those freedoms are important.
Yes.
And I'm proud of those freedoms.
I'm
also proud of our culture. I live in the part of the world where things are going haywire. And so when I look back, I'm proud that I was brought up in a culture that taught respect of elders, and also taught respect for those that are around you. I love our culture. It's a beautiful culture, and being out here helps me appreciate that culture more and more every day, and particularly as I see young people around me going into all kinds of uncultured behaviors. It makes me proud that I am a Zimbabwean, and so I'm proud of my culture. I'm proud of my freedoms. I'm proud of my skin. That might sound really like it's like being very simple.
Yes.
You know, for Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe, being black is something that we take for granted. But for a Zimbabwean like me out of Zimbabwe, being black is something that I don't take for granted anymore. So I'm proud of that as well. I'm proud of my skin. I'm proud of the person that I am and the people that we are as a Zimbabwean. If anything that I've noticed about Zimbabweans is their love for education. I'm proud of that as well. It was instilled within us as Zimbabweans to love, to learn, to love to grow academically and intellectually. So I am truly proud of that.
Yes, I must say.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. This was a very beautiful and illustrative answer. I think you've touched on a lot of things there. Let me just get you on the culture a bit more. What is it that you particularly love about the Zimbabwean culture? If you had to narrow it down to one aspect which you say this is the best thing about the Zimbabwean culture. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Sorry, my network is really bad.
Okay, should I repeat the question? Yes, I can hear you.
Come again with the question.
Yes, so you've touched on Zimbabwean culture and you've very beautifully said what you enjoy about Zimbabwean culture. If you had to narrow it down to one key aspect of Zimbabwean culture, what would that aspect be?
Well, that's a good question. The Zimbabwean culture, if I were to narrow it down to one thing, that would be respect.
Yes.
Zimbabweans are respectful people, and that is seen even in times when there's conflict. People still respect each other. They still respect. People still talk when people see injustice happening to elderly people. And there's a call for people to respect the elderly. There's a call for people to respect opinions. There's a call for people to respect different ideas. So we are a respectful people. We may not like what's being done, but we still remain respectful.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I think that's a very important aspect of who we are as Zimbabweans because, it speaks to what we are. We are peace-loving people. I think, touching on what you said, although Zimbabweans debate about politics and different things like that, we do so in a civilized way and in a very peaceful manner that we show as Zimbabweans. We always find a way to talk about our issues and to resolve them in a peace-loving way, and especially looking at other countries who find themselves in similar situations is something which we should not take for granted, but actually be proud of as Zimbabweans.
That's so true.
Yeah. So, then so obviously we have been talking about the culture quite a lot, the Zimbabwean culture. Let me just, food is also a very important thing. Let me just give you, a rather easy question. What is your favorite food and why? What is your favorite Zimbabwean dish? I'm not I'm very happy.
Sons and beef stew. Nemufushwa.
I'm fushwa.
Kana kovo. I love it. That's my favorite. And what we've decided to do to keep up with that culture,
Yes.
even in Mexico, every Sunday it serves a beef stew and some type of vegetable. Or we can't get corn and other kind of vegetables.
Yes.
But the vegetable that we get, kale,
Yes.
we use that. So to maintain that culture, every Sunday we have sadza, ne beef stew, ne mabonzo, ne mfushwa kana tika unanunga tipa.
Yeah, is right. I think you know what, it's very important because people don't realize how delicious Zimbabwean food is until you've left Zimbabwe. I've noticed like even chicken and beef here doesn't taste the same as it does in Zimbabwe. Like there's something about Zimbabwean vegetables and even Zimbabwean meat in general, which is extraordinary.
Yeah.
So yes. Yeah. And
we slaughter our own cows,
Yes.
So we eat fresh food, and that is something to be appreciated a lot. When people are used to fresh food, and you go to a place where you are eating refrigerated food that has been refrigerated for 3 months,
yes.
Then you begin to realize with kumusha diesel.
Yeah, and it's quite funny talking about that. I think this is the aspect even the whole world needs to understand, because when you read about statistics and people suffering from hunger and things like that, they do not take into account that, for example, even the statistics about Zimbabwe, that many Zimbabweans don't go into a supermarket to buy food. They actually have the privilege to just either go mudangamavo, or to go into their garden and take their own vegetables. So even as Zimbabweans, that's something we should carry into the world to say, look, we are so privileged that we can walk into our own garden, walk into our own walk in Dangaredu just to it's something most of people don't have that privilege.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah. So when talking about now agriculture, Tashikagwe food. So the question, obviously, we now know your favorite dish. Where would you, like, if you're in Zimbabwe, where would you recommend people to enjoy your favorite dish? So what's the most beautiful place in Zimbabwe if you were to give a recommendation for a tourist?
For a tourist?
Yes. No.
Yeah, that's a complicated question, and I don't want them to go to a hotel either. I would recommend that they look for a simple restaurant where in Monwa Sadza. You go to another passiva chigasadza nongara chomonwa.
Yeah.
Risina kubikwa for 50 people. Nongara kabikirwa to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. But tourist anoenda kupi? Anoenda kunana Victoria Falls, kunana Kariba, Kwahunyani, and other places. So just a small, nice restaurant. Isikazari vanhu stereki. Yekuti sadza rinobikwa richina chomonwa pamoto zvakanaka.
Yes. Ipapo, I think those sadza kwanongotesa the best, because once again it's a mass production. Ponyasuona sadza rako richibikwa richinyasomonwa ka woridya richiri kupisa kwerirambodziswa. So
yeah.
We've quite branched out into culture. So let me get us back on on a different path. So we've talked about Zimbabweans as a person, but I would love to talk about Zimbabwe as a country. As a country, I believe that we've got lots of potential, and we've got the right ingredients to grow as a country. But I would love to know from you, in what area do you think Zimbabwe has the biggest potential?
I think Zimbabwe has lots of potential in different areas. Yes. Remember, we have the highest literacy rate, I think, in all of the developing world. And I think even more than some other European and developed world, the developed world.
Yes.
With about 92-93% of literacy rate level.
Yeah.
And not only is it just a literacy rate level, we have lots of young people coming out of our universities that are highly qualified for whatever industry.
Yeah.
And I was reading a few days ago that they discovered oil in Zimbabwe, and they also discovered they're discovering lots of other minerals. And I think the mining sector is one sector that has lots of potential to explode. But for that to happen, then the country needs to come up with policies that help the people that are coming in to mine.
Yeah.
To do so to the benefit of the country.
Yes.
If it so happens that we are able to drill oil in Zimbabwe, then we have hit oil.
Yeah.
We've made it.
Yeah, then I think
Besides the fact that we have diamonds and gold and natural gases that the world is looking to have, So the mining industry is a huge potential for economic growth in Zimbabwe. And I think the agricultural industry has always been the sustaining backbone of the country.
Yeah.
And we just need to go back and be able to do so as was before.
yes.
So there's lots of potential with the redistribution plan of the land. There's lots of potential for growth in our agricultural sector. So yes, there is. I see those growing a lot. So yeah, those two, and I think there are many others, but let me just pick on those two for now.
Yeah. So I like what you said about the agriculture being the key, the backbone of the Zimbabwean people and the Zimbabwean economy. It's always quite interesting for me as a young person when I read about Zimbabwe and you hear the stories, Zimbabwe being the breadbasket of Africa, and it's something which fills me with pride and joy to see that this is what we used to be, and also it fills me with hope for the future to say that this is what we can accomplish once again to reach that status as Zimbabweans again, being able to provide not only for ourselves but for our African brothers and sisters on the continent as well.
Right. Yep. That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. But we need to put in place those policies that will help the country.
Exactly.
We have the best. We have the best agricultural scientists, in Africa.
Yeah.
People come to Zimbabwe to learn of us. I'm in Mexico, and there's an organization close to where I stay that's called CIMIT. They're Zimbabweans, and it concentrates on agricultural research.
Yeah.
And in that place, there's Zimbabweans working there. You go to Australia, the agricultural industry, you find Zimbabweans doing work there. So we are highly qualified. We have highly qualified people, and we need to be proud of that. And as Zimbabweans, we need to take advantage of what the government started for us. Use the resources that we have to make Zimbabwe a breadbasket of Africa again.
Yes, you summed it up quite well there. And it also, like what you said, I love that, to see that wherever you go, you see a Zimbabwean like in a high position. I think it's just in us, that brilliance, and also that resilience, that ability to grow wherever we are as Zimbabweans. Quite interesting story. I think it was my sister Samantha was telling me about this, that Beyonce's songwriter is also Zimbabwean. So it just speaks to, like, in all the different areas you find a Zimbabwean who is linked to greatness somewhere. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
So, we talking on that, finding Zimbabweans. So as young people, especially I'll speak for young people like myself living outside of Zimbabwe, how now this might be a very tricky question. How do you think we can best represent Zimbabwe where we are living?
That's a very, very good question. I think young people living out of Zimbabwe, and if we're talking about the Generation Z,
yes,
the millennials, I think most of them were born out of Zimbabwe or went out of Zimbabwe when they were 5 or less years old, and most of them are very much disconnected from Zimbabwe. They don't really know what's happening. So I think the first thing that we need to do is to teach them about Zimbabwe. we need to be able to give them the tools that they need so that they are able to learn about the history of Zimbabwe and about the geography of Zimbabwe, about the economics of Zimbabwe. That way they will begin to appreciate what is happening in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Most of these young people are exposed to all the negative news about Zimbabwe. If they are to learn about Zimbabwe in school, it will be very limited, and most of it is very negative. So we need to counter that by teaching them the right things about Zimbabwe. And then I think the second step would be, I'm talking to the adults here, not to the young people.
Yes.
We need to take our kids back home,
Yeah.
Whether it's once every 5 years, once every 10 years, we need to take them home. They need to be connected with their country. They need to be connected with their history. If we don't do that, then it will be difficult for them to appreciate what Zimbabwe is all about. So it is important that we do that. Mudzimba, let's talk about Zimbabwe. Let's talk about the good things that are happening in Zimbabwe. To our kids. Let's not be all negative about what is happening. Because there are very good things happening, and our children need to know. So it's really important for us to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And how can young people contribute to Zimbabwe, you asked?
Yes.
That's a good question, because we have young people that are skilled, that are going to very good universities in the West, that are brilliant. And I'm sure if the government was to help connect with these young people and invite them to invest back home, that would be a great investment. The young people out there, engineers who are highly skilled, in their fields of study, that would really, really help the country progress if they were given an opportunity.
Yeah, I can only agree with that, because I've seen a lot of brilliant young Zimbabweans who live outside of Zimbabwe, who, especially on the point that you said of being given an opportunity to invest back home, who actually crave just to take what the skills they've acquired to help Zimbabwe. Because this is also a special thing about Zimbabwe, which I've noticed. No matter where you are in the world, and no matter when you came from Zimbabwe, you always feel and know that Zimbabwe is home. I can speak for myself, to say that I've lived in Germany for 12 years, but I still find myself, when asked where I come from, I still say Zimbabwe, and even my friends know that I'm a proud Zimbabwean. It's just within ourselves to take pride of who we are. And I think also as an appeal from a young person to the other young people out there, I can only say that you see things will start to work a lot easier once you've actually stepped in who you are, basically being the Zimbabwean, and with all the beautiful things and attributes that come with being a Zimbabwean. So to round this up, I would love to ask you, if you were to write a love letter to Zimbabwe, what is a phrase you say this has to be included in that love letter?
Wow, young man, you want to get me poetic?
Yes. you said you start English literature, guys. Do you have to go to literature material and Shakespeare? Tinzoti when you Shakespeare Gamira say.
Yeah, that's a very good question. What sentence would I put in my love letter to Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe, nyika izere neuchi nemukaka, nyika inoerera nemazirudo nomufaro, ine vanhu vanofara. I love the sunsets in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Have you ever seen the sunset in Zimbabwe or the sunrise?
Yeah.
where I lived in Bulawayo for a number of years, and at one time we went to Matopo Hills just to watch the sunrise and the sunset. It was the most beautiful sight. And I think most Zimbabweans, and Zimbabwe as a country, brings with it that hope which a sunrise brings to people. And I believe that we are rising up as a nation, just like the sun rises.
Yes,
we are a nation that's rising up, and we are a nation that brings hope, not just to Southern Africa, but we're a nation that's bringing hope to the world. And because, as you said, Zimbabweans are found everywhere, and where they are, Zimbabweans bring a sunrise. We have beautiful smiles. We are a smiling people. We are a laughing people. And I think we need to continue to be the sun that's rising, not just over Zimbabwe, but over the nations in which we find ourselves.
Wow. I'm almost afraid to comment on that. I want to destroy. This was very poetic. I think we should end it on that note. I can just say to the people, you've heard what was so poetically said. I think it's important that you take that to heart and live by that. Thank you, Seguru, for the interview. It was very lovely talking to you. I've learned a lot, and I think Zimbabweans have, through what you've said, once again gained courage to be proud of who we are. So to the people out there, I also put the challenge to you to love, engage, and represent Zimbabwe wherever you are. Do you have any final words you want to say to the people?
I want to say to all Zimbabweans out there, this year we have elections. Let's go out there and vote. Let's do so peacefully. Let's raise the flag of Zimbabwe in a way that no other nation has done with their own flags. We are a great people. I believe as Zimbabweans, tose tiri vana veushe, takazvarirwa kutonga, but umwe chete ndiye anokwanisa kutonga. Vamwe ngatibatsire ari kutonga.
Yes.
Nyangwe hazvo tiri vana veushe. Ndosaka tichitonga kwese kwatinonga taenda.
Yes. So thank you very much to the people. We'll see you in the next episodes. Peace out.